Hey everyone, this is Mark coming at you. Hope you're having a great week. I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about a couple things. This past week I heard a teaching that I was listening to, and there was a story in there that kind of really spoke to me. And the story was about what he was saying is that the Indians, if they were actually in a battle, and they knew they were outnumbered, that they would actually take a stake and stick it into the ground and then tie themselves to it. So that, in a sense, forced them to stand their ground, and if it was to the death, it was to the death. And after I heard that story, it made me think, like, what are my stakes? And am I tied to those stakes 100%? Or am I, if it's convenient? And what I mean from the stake perspective is I look at it with my walk with Christ. You know, what's my stake in salvation? What's my stake in healing? What's my stake in tithing? What's my stake in relationships? What's my stake as Jesus, my Lord? What is the stakes? And am I tied to that to the end? Where I'm not moving, I'm not shifting, I'm not shaking. This is where I stand, and you can't tell me or convince me otherwise. There was an article I read this week from a Harvard business school, and the guy was talking, he graduated in the 70s, and he was talking about how he used to play basketball, and he was the starting center for the team. So they was coming up to a championship game, and the championship game played on Sundays, but at 16, he made a commitment to God that he would never play basketball on Sundays. So he had to go to his coach and say, hey, look, I can't play. I made a commitment to the Father. Told his team, I can't play. And then, of course, they're all like, can't you make an exception? Can't you make an exception? And he said this statement in his article. He said, it's easier to be 100% committed to your principles than 98%. Because you're always going to have moments in your life to where you'll hear the statement, can you make an exception? So when I tied those two together, I'm like, okay, with stakes in the Word, am I 100% committed to those principles that the Father shared with me so I can walk in the confidence knowing what God said will be manifesting in my life, and it's always working on my behalf? Are you doing that? I love digging into the Word and starting to see the revelation and the depth that you start to experience, because at the end of the day, the communion with the Father is about the relationship, and you just grow stronger and more confident knowing that He always has your back, your best interest, and wants the best for you. So if you would, over this next week or so, just take the time and kind of really think about, where's my stakes? What am I staked in? And am I 100% committed to that? And if you're not, then you have to ask yourself, why not? Because through life, you're always going to have that, can you make an exception? Remember, if you're not putting pressure on the Word, then who is? You guys be blessed. I appreciate your guys' time.